Hello, YouTube. Week 6 here underway on the live stream. Got a pretty good show tonight. Going to show you some bucks that have been taken here in our local area. Food plots, whitetail talk, cattle market, and it's time of the year. We're turning some cattle out on the rye pasture. Going to wait and see a few in the live chat before we take off. But once again, if you're just joining, we're going to talk whitetail bucks. We're going to talk deer movement. We're going to talk cattle market here in Oklahoma, and also it's time to turn cattle out on wheat pasture. Hope everybody's having a good Thursday. Normally been doing this on Wednesdays. Had some activities with the school yesterday. Local school here had a FFA event and was unable to do it on Wednesday, so we moved to this Thursday at 8. Wednesday night, we'll be back next week at 8 p.m. I hope if you've got cattle, you're enjoying the market. I hope if you have been hunting, you've been seeing some wildlife. And I hope the weather's been pretty good in your area. 73 degrees here today, a little bit warmer than normal for mid-November. As soon as you get in here, make sure and comment so I'll know who's in the chat. And just about ready to go. I'm going to start out with talking about a local deer that got taken right here in our neck of the woods. This is Michael Boyd. Shot him a mature, it looks like a 7-point. You can see his decoy there. He had attached to his compound bow. Shot him from the ground. You turn the antlers just a little bit, you can see that G2 on the right side has a little split to it. There's also a crab claw out to the end of the main beam. I told Michael I had pictures of that deer from clear back in 2021 whenever he was a youngster. I kind of guessed he might have been 20, or I'm sorry, it could have been 2 to 3 years old. You can see there on that right side, he's got that small kicker. I'm going to go right over to 2022 whenever I had him also. This is on another farm, a little bit bigger, a little bit taller. You can see the small crab claw on the right side, and once again, he had a small point on that right G2. Hello there, Rob Sims. Pasture look nice? Yes, it is. It's looking real good. Hello there, Fast Draw. Rick, how you doing? Love your shed hunting videos. Thanks for checking us out here, Wade. I'm going to switch screens here just a second. Be back on me. I hope everybody saw Michael Boyd's deer there. Wade Rust, you love the shed hunting videos. Wade, where are you from? Mark Munkers, glad to see you here as well. Going to go right back quickly here to that Boyd buck. Here's a rear view of it. Once again, you can see that G2 on the right side has a small point. You see the doe decoy that he had on the front of his compound bow. You see Boyd is dressed in the camo. He's got a little bit of orange on there. He was hunting from the ground. Wade Rust, you're from Indiana. All right, well, thanks for checking in, man. We're pretty much talking about Oklahoma, but Wade, if you have something to send to me, I'll get it in the next video, if it's whitetail related or cattle related. And I love finding those shed antlers as well. Here's a frontal view from that Michael Boyd buck again. I'm going to quickly show you the 2021 picture of him. I figured he was possibly a 2-year-old back then. And then here he is in 22. So you can see I've got I hope I put it on here. I had one trail cam picture of him from this year. I'm not seeing it. I must have forgot to put it here on the computer so I could share it with y'all. But the depth of body is about like going from that buck being 2 to 3 year old to me being 20 years old to 40 years old. There's a lot more depth of body right here on me too. That buck had gotten old and was in his prime. Congratulations to Michael shooting one from the ground, stocking up on it. That is quite the achievement. Yes, it was cool. Michael Boyd, how are you? That was a glorious picture. Glorious picture. Native grass, deer love it. Big cottonwood tree there in the background. That's Michael Boyd in the comments, and that was his deer. Next thing I'm going to go to, you guys know I have a drone. So here is some guy called me this week, needed me to help check and find a deer for him. You can see there my drone set in black and white mode. Black is hot. There's his buck laying there on the ground. Zooming in just a little bit, assuming that buck has already expired. Then I kick my spotlight on. Every time I turn that spotlight on the drone, it doesn't stay zoomed in. So I got to zoom back in. I could easily tell the buck had expired. And Sam said, "Man, we think that buck's like 7 years old. Would you help me load him up?" There was one quick picture of him that we took as we got him loaded up. But a 9-point buck, nice rack, big, heavy deer. I think the deer probably weighed every bit of 300 pounds. I've killed some that weighed 240 gutted, and this was a big old boy. They'd had pictures of him for 3 years. He looked mature all 3 years. Once again, I'll show you that picture, and then we will switch screens. Hunting season underway here. Middle of the season, basically here in November, starts October the 1st in Oklahoma, runs till January the 15th. I personally wish they would shorten it up just a little bit. Want to go over here to a buck. It looks like he's making a scrape. That is a 3x5 buck. I've got these cameras here on some trails, and this guy, he's not even under a tree, but he's pawing mad. I told a few people that maybe he's mad pawing like that because he only grew 3 points on the right and 5 on the left, or possibly vice versa. But if I get a chance on him, it's going to be end of his days come, let's see, we're November 15th, November 13th. I keep thinking middle of the month. November 13th, November the 22nd is our first day of gun season. I have been waiting. Yeah, way to go there, Michael, says Mark Munkers. Mark's a fellow buck slayer as well. I've been waiting. I've been holding off on going bow hunting. Some people might think that's crazy, but I've got a beautiful, well, I've got one gun right here behind me that I'm going to get out and shoot this week. It is a 223. I'll pull it on around here. But I've got a beautiful Henry lever action that's a golden boy. Of course, this is not it. This is 223, just to show it's unloaded. But I have not shot this 223. I love the way it looks. That's probably going to take down a couple of does later in the year. But I do have a new Henry. My beautiful daughter-in-law got for me this last Christmas. I went ahead and bought a Hawk scope and mounted on it, and I forgot to get it out of the gun safe, folks. I'll have it on here for next week. I'll also have some shooting videos coming out soon. Let me look here. I want to show you what I'm going to call a buck parade. All of my cameras are set up where deer are either going to water, going to scrapes, and this was yesterday. All of these bucks, I'm going to say, look pretty cool. Pretty cool to me anyway. They're probably not completely mature, but I'm going to say every one of these bucks on the camera yesterday that were in daylight were somewhere from 3 to 4-year-old bucks. They were all traveling, looking for does. I feel like we've been in the breeding for about a week right now on these whitetails, and looks like to me yesterday they were all up on their feet looking. You notice this camera here had just turned back to the infrared, so it's getting close to the end of the day there. But once again, we'll run back through those bucks. All of those bucks are, kind of considered mature bucks here in Oklahoma. Hey, Jonathan, good to see you in here. The adrenaline rush was real, sure enough, Michael Boyd. And Covey up. Jonathan, good to see you on here. Hopefully Asa is enjoying the hunting with you this year. You certainly appreciate the stock hunting, Michael. Congratulations. Yes, sir. So, want to go next to, this is my last pasture that I had just weaned. Got 20 head in here, some weaned calves. I'm fixing to show you some prices, and then we'll get back to deer as well. Now, that cow, of course, she's just a cow. I'd already weaned her calf a month ago, and she missed the trailer and didn't get moved to the other pasture. But this is my last set of weaning calves. I've talked about the market just a little bit on here the last few weeks. It is certainly high, but it is not near as high as it was a few weeks ago. Like I said before, I voted for President Trump 3 times, and I'm happy that I voted for him, but his comment about Argentina and bringing in some extra beef, it's changed these prices. This was OKC West yesterday. Tuesday, I'm sorry, 441-pound heifers there at the top bring 475 a pound. 78 head of those. You can go on down the list and it shows the weights on all of them. Anywhere from 440 to about, well, there's some from 370 on up to 496 pounds there on the fourth or fifth line down, bring $4 a pound. There's some six weights, bring 380. Working our way down to some 800 pounders, 840 pounds, bring 305. They're integrity beef. 600 pounders bring 360. 723 bring 337. So if you're looking at that wondering what that really means per pound, it's also per hundredweight. So $337 every 100 pounds or $3.37 a pound. I haven't sold any for probably a month. I didn't hit the highs, but I sure hit some good markets. We were kind of right in here. It went back up 30 or 40 cents. President Trump made his comments. Unfortunately, the cattle market has come down 40 to 50 cents a hundred. I'm going to show you the steer prices. I'm actually going to start at the bottom down there. 786 pounders bring $3.59 a pound. 887 pounders bring $3.39. Just running a calculator in my head. So 900 pounds at 3 would be $2,700. Those cattle bring about 2,900 pretty easily right there. Let's work our way up to the top. There's some 535 pounders bring $4.45 a pound. We're probably pretty stinking close to $2,400 a head right there. There's some 700 pounders. It says Gill and Waters steer calves, 700 pounders bring $360 integrity beef. Some of these cattle, it shows how many days they had been weaned, but once again, that is at OKC West Livestock. I had mentioned last week about Fairview, which is not too far from me. They run a good livestock auction as well. We've also got Enid Livestock Market. I tried to check both of their reports today, but they were not out yet. I assume since the government is back open, and I know the cattle futures went up well, I would assume that we're going to see a higher trade this week all the way around. Fairview, it says here they're having a stock cow replacement sale. They'll have 500 cows on Tuesday. That already happened. 850 cows coming this Saturday. It's going to be anything from bred heifers, pairs. Be a nice set of cows there for replacements. They'll be offering something for every program and every budget. I want to tell you folks, probably the least amount that you're going to see is $3,000. Probably the highest is in the $5,000 range. Cale James's phone number is right there at the bottom, 405-612-5386. So a lot of cattle going to be moving this week right here in northwestern Oklahoma. Fairview Livestock fills up quick on those special sales on Saturdays. If you are interested or if you know of somebody interested in replacement stock, get over there, get your hand in the air. But I'm going to tell you, you better be there 30 minutes to an hour early to get a good seat. It will fill up quick. Back to the deer. My good friend Rob Sims sent me this trophy. I believe that said trophy magnet. This is stuff that he planted in late September. Got it at Johnston Seed here in Enid, Oklahoma. I'm just showing the greenery on the scenery there. One of their food plots that Rob planted for his kids and his family to hunt on. Looks like to me, if the deer are looking for green, they've got a good place to go eat right there. Thanks for sending that in, Mr. Sims. I already showed you the scrape, the buck parade. The last few days, here's what I've been doing, and we're very blessed to be doing it. Turning cattle out on wheat pasture this winter. This is the first time in 3 years that I've had any winter grazing in November to turn out on. Most of the time, the last few years, we haven't been able to turn anything out till February or March. So we are very blessed to have had the rains that we needed to get some good growth on some rye pasture. Here's a second trailer load I took down there to that place. I actually took 40 head of those 600-pound heifers. Planning on using all of them for replacements, actually 41 head. I took 3 trailer loads down there. I'm planning on using those for replacement stock, breeding them. I'll have young Angus bulls with them come about May of next year. So they're going to be out on some green. They're going to be growing. They probably ought to weigh 850 to 900 pounds by then. They're worth a lot of dollars right now, but I've got some old cows, and those old cows are going to be turned into cash. These replacements, I'm going to probably get rid of about 20 of those older cows, keep these replacement heifers, and pretty good set of heifers right there. Here's one of my Angus bulls. Come up pretty close to me today there. I was opening the gate, letting this set of cows and their calves out on the greenery as well. Now these calves, they'll probably be weaned in January, probably weighing from 300 to 400 pounds right now. Most of those calves, you're fixing to see a few of them coming through there. Most of those calves were born in the middle of the summer. This big Charolais calf, I kept this clip of it in here. See the cow here with the small horns? She's dry. She lost her calf, so I'm planning on pulling her off. I don't want her being out on the rye. They've got a calf on their side. I'm going to give those cows a little bit of chance to get some good greenery to eat. But I was pulling that horn cow off. Now watch this calf here. This goes back to you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it can drink. You can get a calf right to the gate, but that doesn't mean he'll go through it. Doing everything you can except going through that gate. And is he going to do it? Finally, he does it. I'm going to go through and read some of the comments here. Fast Draw. Next time you go to OKC West at El Reno, let you know I'm not far from there. Rick, that's a good idea. Thank you. Michael Boyd, good looking food plot. Yes, it is. Rob, I hope you're still in here. I think I saw a comment right off the start, but that is a good looking food plot. Hope you and your kids have a good, successful season. Last year, Rob's kids, all three, did they all three get their first deer last year, Rob? And my memory is one of them wasn't all that great of a size, but if it gets your heart pumping, pull that trigger. Put them in the dirt. Asa just asked me if Ruby is doing okay. Ruby is doing okay. And Jonathan, tell Asa that Ruby was in that set of heifers that I was just turning out on the rye. You could see the trailer, and Ruby was in that set of heifers. She's doing good. Rob's back in here. Yeah. So all three of your kids got deer last year. Shooting anything from a 223 last year to a 7 mag, if I remember right from Rob telling me that. Here is the first set of cows that I turned out on the pasture. This is one of my fall calving cow sets. You can see they're fat and they're in good shape anyway, but they're all nursing new calves, basically 30 days about old on average. Once again, folks, we haven't had this rye pasture in years past, and it is a blessing to have it this year. If you're just joining in here, tonight on Thursday night, we had moved it from Wednesday. We normally have been doing this, or I have normally been doing this on Wednesday nights. Had to move it for a school activity yesterday. If you've got some pictures of bucks that you've already harvested, or does for that matter, either way, send them my way. You can get them to me at 3doutdoor@gmail.com. I'll share, put me a little note in there how your experience went, whether it's you, your kids, your family members, whatever. And be tuned in next Wednesday as well. I'm sure not everybody has great wheat pasture, but I'm sure there's several of them in the country who do. And it is truly a blessing to have it here this year. I want to get to, hopefully you've already seen my video, but look at the width on this guy, the big 6. So he is missing a brow tine right there, but he does have a little crab claw out there on his right side. I was fortunate to harvest him in black powder season, which was November the 1st is whenever I got to him. I'll put it that way. Heck of a hunt. I just put it on YouTube a couple days ago. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I think you'll enjoy. Lots of deer action in there. Unfortunately, I had to use my drone. That's not a big deal, but I got the drone to help other people out, not help me out. The drone's always done a nice job. If I've got a cow calving, I'll fly that drone out there. I'll check her out. That way I don't have to drive the pickup out there and disturb the rest of the herd. If I've already fed them once that day, I sure don't want them following me all around the pasture and the feed pickup, so I can fly a drone out there day or night with that thermal, check things out. I'd seen several deer with them before, but I really hadn't tried to use it on deer until this last 2 weeks. I've went and done some drone jobs for some people, went and checked out some hunting properties for some people, gave them a head count on what they've got on the property. You still might be getting some deer on camera that uh, that I might not be able to see, depending on how green your trees still were. We finally had a hard frost and now the leaves are falling, but I might have missed a few deer on some of those, and some of the deer that they're getting on their cameras, they might have been on the neighbors that night. But I've flown like that for some people. I have found some deer for some people, including myself. I've found some deer that did not get injured bad enough to die. They really weren't in the vitals, so I think those. Well, hello there, Mama. How you doing? I didn't know you ever got in the live chat. Good to see you. That's my mom, Robbie Dehas there. Uh, that made me lose my train of thought there, Mom. Anyhow, it's been a good tool to have, and I've had a good time with it, able to recoup a little bit of money. Uh, if you folks have got a dog, you shoot a deer, can't find it, you are required to contact the game warden before you take your dog out there on a leash to try and find your deer. We're not required to contact the game warden with a drone. We are also not to be hunting the deer with the drone. But after you've shot one or somebody's shot one, if they need help finding it, you can use that thermal drone and get right there to them. Looks like my feed for some reason was being delayed there, so switch cameras. Folks, that's about all I've got for tonight. And I hope y'all enjoyed. Next Wednesday at 8 o'clock, be right back here going. Once again, if you've taken some nice deer, let me know how the pasture is in your situation as well for your cattle. Let me know if you have been to the sale lately in your area. I hope for good weather. I hope for good hunting for all. And good luck to everybody. Stay safe. And God bless you all. I'm going to click on out of here and see you next Wednesday night. Thank you all for watching.